Good evening, Birmingham. Good to see everyone this evening. It is an honor to serve as mayor. I want to thank you all for being present tonight. It is a Tuesday night. It's a school night, and many of you all work today and or need to get home to your families. So for you to take time out of your busy schedule, I want to express my sincere appreciation for you all being here tonight. This is our annual State of the Community. I do a similar speech in the middle of the day called the State of the City. To be clear, it's not a lot of distinction between city and community related to what I share. But there are some people I want to acknowledge tonight before I get into a little detail. Format-wise, I want to share also before I do some introductions. And that is, if you came in, it's already been stated, but it's worth sharing again. This is a town hall style meeting, so it's not meant for me to just stand here and present to you. At some point, I'm going to come off the stage and they'll pull all those forms you have and questions you may have. They'll be asked aloud and I'll answer them or attempt to answer them if I know the answer. With that stated, I want to acknowledge the city councilors that are present, starting with the president of the Birmingham City Council, and that is Dr. Darrell O'Quinn, pro tem of the Birmingham City Council, Wardine Alexander, District 7. By the way, President O'Quinn is District 5. Councilor LaTonya Tate of District 9, and Councilor Crystal Smitherman of District 6. Did I miss any of your colleagues? They may be showing up late, but please stand and be recognized. I also want to acknowledge the hardworking staff of the City of Birmingham that is present, that is appointed, and civil service employees who go hard every day on behalf of the citizens they serve. I want to thank you all for being present tonight. I know you all have had a long work day. And then all the residents here are special, I promise you, but I do want to acknowledge presidents, vice presidents, as well as the secretaries of the 99 neighborhoods. So if you could stand or wave and be acknowledged for your presence. So again, please remember your cards, and just a show of hands, does anybody need one or extra one so we can get them to you this early? All right, with that being said, listen, I want to start with some good news. I've shared this news earlier. It is worth repeating again. I'm excited to announce some breaking news that just happened today. The U.S. Department of Commerce has just awarded the City of Birmingham, in partnership with UAB as well as Southern Research, $44 million grant to support our designation as a tech hub. Now, I want to stop right there. I want to speak as plain language as possible. So show of hands, who had a family member or has a family member that works for U.S. Steel, anybody in the steel industry? Show of hands. All right, who has a family member or friend that works in healthcare, UAB, etc.? All right. If you're following the hands, Birmingham, Alabama has had two iterations of its economic identity, one being the turn of the century, around 1900. We were founded in 1871, but we got this big boom in the early 1900s when everyone realized our natural resources existed here that allowed us to produce steel. There was a super boom here, the creation of thousands of jobs, and increasing our city's population, etc. We fast forward, we turn metal into medicine in the form of UAB and so many other healthcare sector jobs that created thousands of jobs today that not only makes UAB the largest employer in the city, but makes UAB the largest employer in the state. So what I am talking about, what I just announced as being awarded, make no mistake, these dollars are a game changer because they will bring new jobs, thousands of jobs, to the city of Birmingham over the next 10 years in the form of biotechnology jobs, which is the future of our economic identity. So it's extremely important that I share that with you. With that said, I think it's important that I also acknowledge what happened in 2024. And let's be real. 2024 was a difficult year for not just our country, not just our nation, but what we felt here in Birmingham was personal. 2024 was filled with, if you would, a lot of what some people call midnight moments. Moments that, even through those long nights, our team worked hard to get over some of the rough patches that existed for families and communities in 2024. I think a better way to say it is that if 2024 was our midnight, I believe 2025 can be our dawn, and I want to break that down and explain why. Many of you all know that we made a promise. We made a promise to reduce crime. But I want to remind you in 2024, we did just that. Rapes went down, assaults went down, auto theft went way down. But there was one crime category that continued to not only make headlines, but affect families and communities, and that's homicides. And I believe it ties back to an issue that I labeled during the early years of our administration, which is that this is a public health crisis, and that's gun violence. Gun violence is a public health crisis. And because it's a public health crisis, it's a problem we cannot simply police ourselves out of. So a couple months back in October, the truth is I turned to you all for help. I reached out to dedicated servant leaders in our community to develop a comprehensive plan to improve not only public safety, but to eradicate the gun violence epidemic that has continued to haunt our city. And so that crime commission report, everyone, was made up of 21 members, representing residents, representing leaders of business, leaders in our community, those in the criminal justice arena, medical as well as nonprofit sectors. 2 months later, we have our findings, and I think they are more than worth sharing with you all. But most importantly, within those findings, there are 5 categories that we are laser focused on. One is so simple yet so important and direct, and that is to put more police on our streets. 2, it is to secure a state ban on conversion devices. Many of you all live in neighborhoods where over the years, you've seen not only an increase in gun violence, but the style of weapons you hear being discharged in your neighborhood. Glock switches, the street name, that makes a conventional handgun perform like a machine gun. 3 is to continue to increase collaboration between the Birmingham Police Department, and you see leadership seated here in the front, to my right, your left, in collaboration with Jefferson County Sheriff Mark Petway, as well as federal law enforcement partners in this area. And the 4th thing is to invest in our neighborhoods, everyone, to not only remove blight, but continue to revitalize communities. But the 5th thing is extremely important, and that is to create educational and workforce opportunities for our young black men and our young black teen boys. I think it's important that I pause here to make a very, very key point. The unfortunate part is that concentrated poverty plus unemployment, plus our young boys not attending school, on top of the staffing issues police departments face nationwide. And then the unfortunate part of, on top of that, a culture of retaliation, is the bad equation that led to the increase in gun violence in 2024. So supporting our young black men and investing in our young black boys is extremely critical to this work, especially around making sure that they are gainfully employed. Absolutely critical to making sure we get this right. Now I want to break down some more about the report and what it gave us. The report gave us more than 80 recommendations, everyone. More than 80 recommendations on how we will combat crime. Earlier I mentioned we will focus on 5 things, but even embedded in those 5, there are 4 immediate things we can do right now. 4 immediate things we can do right now. One is to identify high-risk individuals and groups through a combination of not only enforcement and accountability, but with social support as well. The second is what we call community violence intervention. And that is a means by the expansion of our street outreach teams as well as our hospital-based violence intervention disruption program. That allows us literally to disrupt cycles of violence as well as retaliation. And then the continued ongoing analysis led by BPD of violent incidents to identify not only patterns, but to prevent retaliation, as well as guide future interventions. And then fourth, because I told you it was four things, a focus on hotspots, and that is where violence is concentrated, not only going into that area with more policing, but equally an increased effort on removing blight and revitalizing that area. The last point I just made, because as we know, policing is vital to break through the generational cycle of violence and retaliation. Residents of Birmingham, I'm standing here telling you on this stage that it's also extremely important. So very, very important that we also restore hope to underserved neighborhoods. Because until those residents, our residents, know that there is a way out, this cycle can continue. But I'm also standing on this stage hopeful, because the thing about hope is I truly believe, and I hope you believe it as well, it's contagious. Because as I think about not just this crime report, but the feedback I get from everyday residents, never before has there been an issue during our administration that has unified us more as communities, has unified us more as 99 neighborhoods, like this singular issue of public safety. As stated from our entire crime commission, which brought together a diverse set of residents, business owners, and thought leaders from across the city, but also to all of you all, seated here on a Tuesday night where it's cold outside and you could be home. Because your presence here shows just how much you care about this city. And as we implant hope, which is our job, in our communities that desperately deserve it, we will be powered by the hope you all bring as everyday citizens to this cause. It turns out it's your trust in us, it's your desire for change, and most importantly, as I continue to sign things and write and share with people, it is your love for our magic city that will bring us light into those midnights I described earlier. But I have to explain to you more great news, because I'm about to rattle off a lot of information that may sound like I'm reading, but it's important that you be armed with receipts as you walk out of these doors, back into your neighborhood, and talk to your neighbors, talk to the people in your block, on your street, talk to people at Walmart and grocery stores and Dollar General, wherever you shop, and communicate with people. This is what we are doing. We are ahead of the curve, and you need to know that. We've already either implemented or in the process of implementing many of the Commission's recommendations. I want to start with the police. Police recruitment has grown. Police recruitment has grown to its largest since 2020 and will now be further aided thanks to this Birmingham City Council by a $16 million infusion for a detailed recruitment and retention plan that this police department will walk out. That already includes a $10,000 bonus for new recruits, and we have a quarterly retention bonus for officers with the department who served 2 or more years, and they've already received their $2,500 quarterly bonus right before Christmas. But as we talk about policing and manpower, I think it's important we talk about technology. And so we're growing our real-time crime center, everybody. That is with the aid and help of various partners, but one of the biggest is a federal grant that includes a $4.2 million appropriation from Senator Katie Britt, who we want to publicly thank. That investment will be an add-on to the more than 2,100 cameras the police department already has access to citywide. But we got to invest in our young people too. And we got to meet them where they are. And when conflict resolution is not taught at home, not taught in community, what is the village's responsibility? So with your public tax dollars, we partnered with the school system and municipal court for a conflict resolution program that is now offered to mostly all students in every Birmingham City school, K through 12. It's called the Common Ground Curriculum, if you were unaware of it. As stated, funded by us and implemented and led by municipal court, mainly the chief judge over there, Judge Andre Sparks. We also have the Restore program. We have team members here from Family Court who we partner with. This program is extremely critical, everyone, to teenagers in the juvenile justice system, because this program has immediate impact on making sure while they are in custody and when they come out, that a difference is actually made in their lives. So important. Of course, those funds were a grant received from the Department of Justice as well. And then we have the Office of Community Safety Initiatives. Now, that's a lot of words, but this contract allows us, in partnership with the National Institute for Criminal Justice Reform, to take the next steps to produce our gun violence reduction strategy, which includes what our officers need for shooting reviews, as well as focused deterrence. But then we have this other program. We're expanding our hospital-linked violence intervention partnership. Now, again, that's a lot of words, but the short version is in partnership with the Jefferson County Department of Health. How do we make sure those shot and survive don't go back out into the community and retaliate and or get shot again and or worse, get killed or kill someone? This program has been so successful, we're expanding it not only to those admitted, but we're expanding it to those in the emergency room who are discharged. Extremely important in this fight. Now, the Crime Commission report goes on to tell us that roughly 1% of our city's population has accounted for more than 50% of the violence. But that is why we are working with an external team to launch a program called One Hood. That's ONEHOOD, One Hood, to break the cycle of violence through direct interaction with those people most at risk. So what does that mean? That means a laser-like focus on that 1% and injecting new life in all facets of our violence prevention as well as our public safety sectors. But it's important for me, everyone, to be extremely clear on everything I just said, because that was a lot. The vast majority of you all, actually all of y'all in this room, the vast majority of the citizens of Birmingham are peaceful. Men and women who have families, who simply want to sit on their porch, who want their child to play outside even if they don't have their eyes on them while they're in the house cooking. Law-abiding citizens who simply want the best for their community. The small percentage of people participating in violence, as I understand it based on continued feedback from you all and residents, is that your resolve is not shaken. That we as a collective can move our city forward. But again, what does that look like? What does building a better Birmingham have to do with going beyond public safety? Well, it's about building. And that is where neighborhood revitalization not only continues to come in, but we still drive it as a priority. So this council recently passed an amended budget that reflects just that around neighborhood revitalization. Some of you all can see it on the screen, but I'll just name some of it. It's more than $20 million will be spent for street resurfacing, sidewalks, traffic calming, as well as expanded blight reduction efforts. Here on the screen, you see that includes $1 million for sidewalks, $3 million for weed abatement, $1.5 million for blight removal, and the remaining $15 million to resurface streets. But it also means investing in our youngest generation, and so our commitment to education remains strong. $2 million committed to the Birmingham Promise, another $1 million committed to mental health in partnership with our school system to engage K through 12 children, as well as another $750,000 related to early childhood education initiatives. But I want to go back to the promise because you all know that is something that we are extremely proud of and we have to continue to push. The promise last year marked 5 years, if you were unaware. And this transformative effort has allowed us to invest in more than 1,600 graduates to allow them to attend a college or university in the state of Alabama tuition-free. That is a big deal. On top of that, more than 300 of those same students had an opportunity to participate in paid internships during their final year of high school, exposing them to their dreams, passions, and opportunities for a future career they have an interest in. What does that have to do with anything? Well, it has everything to do with what we're discussing. Because when we talk about the cycle of violence, when we talk about those midnight moments that I described earlier, that darken doorsteps and leave mothers and grandmothers and children in tears, it's efforts like the Birmingham Promise that shatter the cycle of violence and give those same young people hope that puts a smile on their parents, mothers, and grandparents' faces. Looking forward, we are proud to announce the launch of the Office of Resilience and Sustainability. Now, this is important. What I believe and what our team believes is that the South can and should be a place where natural resources, as well as our people, as well as businesses, can work together to keep Birmingham healthy for generations to come. That means we got to put in work. And so I'm happy to have team members that are seated, standing here, and that team is led by a person I would like to introduce to the city of Birmingham tonight, and if she could stand when I call her name, and that is Sherry Lee Bloodworth. She is our city's first Chief Resilience and Sustainability Officer. We actually built a team around her before she got here, and they have been doing amazing work. She'll lead them, she'll lead me, she'll lead us as a city and a community in making sure we can tackle initiatives that we don't even think about but are critical to quality of life and our health, such as carbon emissions, such as healthy food sovereignty, and such as the creation of an enterprise-wide sustainability plan that makes this city safer, cleaner, and improves quality of life. Now, you've heard me say several times that it will take all of us. It'll take all of us, each and every person, under the sound of my voice, to push Birmingham forward. So it begs the question, if I am a neighborhood president, neighborhood vice president, secretary, if I am a full-time parent with 2 jobs and no transportation, if I am a senior elder in my neighborhood community, it begs the question, what's my role in this? What's your role in this? I believe the answer is very, very simple, residents. Be a good neighbor. Be a good neighbor. Now, whether that's joining your neighborhood watch programs or signing up for Connect Birmingham, where you can register your home or your business cameras with BPD to assist us in your area, the bottom line, the real point of what I'm saying, what I'm driving home, is that your engagement in your block, on your street, in your neighborhood is critical. It is key to making sure we can drive out, push out bad elements that don't belong in your neighborhood. If you're a parent with a school-aged child, please make sure your child regularly attends school. Because where they are is where we can educate them, in that school. Look, y'all, the truth is Birmingham is no stranger. Consider what I'm saying. Birmingham is no stranger to tough times. I believe every time that we were faced with a seemingly insurmountable obstacle, in today's time we know that obstacle is gun violence. We beat it when we faced it together. I got leadership in here in uniform. I didn't tell them to, but they decided to wear the uniforms, not suits today. But if y'all could, please stand up. A sword has many points. Y'all can have a seat. Thank you. They're just the tip of it. They're just the tip of the sword. They're not the entire sword as it relates to all of us collectively pushing out, rooting out, decreasing crime in our city. You see, 60 plus years ago, we shattered the specter of Jim Crow. But I want to talk about modern day 2024, what we did, what we accomplished when we worked together. I think a lot of what we accomplished in 2024 got overshadowed. So I want to drop a few things for you. Programs like Page Pals, which I hope you've heard of, allowed us, because we worked together, to raise reading scores for our third graders significantly to 81%, reading at grade level. Because the year before, it was in the 50s. But that's because we worked together. That is because we work together. When you talk about a local business like Coca-Cola United breaking ground on a facility in the Kingston neighborhood as part of a $330 million investment project that creates more jobs, that is because we take public-private partnerships seriously. When you talk about how Community Development's Ready to Own program assists home buyers in the ability to receive up to $10,000 towards their opportunity to close on purchasing a home in our city, that is because we put our families first, we put people first, and we believe in giving opportunity. When you talk about investments we're making in modernizing city facilities and city technologies, including improved business licensing, permitting, and websites that will better help and meet residents where they are related to improving government efficiency, that is because we have 5 core values we own. And when we talk about the resolve of daily people like you, your neighbors, your friends, your church members, your colleagues and coworkers, your extended family, the resolve of the people who walk daily footsteps of a generation so bold like yourselves, so defiant. We are here in this moment in 2025 and beyond to put our stamp on a better Birmingham. Now, there are a few more things I want to say before I close out. I got a note right here because I didn't want to forget it. I got a lot of notes, actually. Here we go. 2024 had a lot of dark spots, had a lot of dark moments, but there were rays of progress that kept peeking out. I believe in 2025, and I believe we will shine brighter. And I only believe that for one reason. It is simply because in 2025, we will shine together. All the things we want to collectively see better for our community, let's continue to work together.